Hello, and welcome to another episode of Women of Consciousness. Today, I'm going to be talking about unity consciousness, specifically for light workers coming together, calling. Our calling is now. Time of action is now, and I've really been feeling deeply inspired and motivated to do this episode. So, welcome and thanks for listening. Um, I'm just going to dive right into a story that I kind of have been wanting to talk about for a little bit now. And it played out and it took its course. And so, in reflection, I just thought this would kind of be an important story to maybe share. So, as most people know, that I think support women of consciousness, have checked out our page and all of that, or other episodes previously. I work in a spiritual community, right? Metaphysical setting, freelancing for oracle card readings and chakra energy healing sessions. I've been doing it for 2.5 years, and it's been a beautiful experience. Personally, for me, it's been transformative. It's been like a womb space. It really provided me with security and safety and comfort to get to know my skills, to get to know myself, my cards, my instruments, and to be able to connect with other people. And so over the past 2.5 years, it's always fascinating to me, when I do readings for the general public and people, to see where they're at. There's so much common themes that people are trying to figure out or explore, especially career, a lot of career shifts in the last couple of years as this matrix kind of system has been shooken up a little bit, especially since COVID, really. People, finding new ways to work with remote and all of those things. So just the whole paradigm of the workforce really shifting. Relationships obviously is always a big one. But the biggest thing that I always see, the number one common theme, is about personal empowerment. I mean, really, think about that for a minute. Personal empowerment. So, as practitioners, I'm just going to use that word, practitioners. It doesn't matter if it's a psychic medium or a pet psychic or somebody who draws, right? They channel, they draw, somebody who works with crystals. It doesn't matter, whatever practice they use to use their skills and their gifts to give that information to other people, practitioner. So in the metaphysical space, right, people are obviously on a spiritual journey. They're waking up more and more to maybe past life stuff or generational traumas. They're recognizing all of the conflict and karmic situations happening in their lives, all of these things that, we're going through day to day. And a lot of people will come in and just kind of look for guidance, kind of look for some extra help and support. And then there are people who are just really powerless. Honestly, they've been really victimized. They've been really traumatized. They've been really abused and taken advantage of, whether it was their childhoods into their whole entire adult lives, whether they're trying to heal that or understand that, or whether they're just completely surrendered to it and don't even recognize, that that's part of their energy and identity. But power really comes from within, right? It really comes from within when we speak our truth, when we set our boundaries, when we really have confidence in knowing who we are and what our needs are, what our wants and our desires are, having really good balance on trying to achieve that. So a lot of times there have been people that I've seen, that have just been really in a place of pain and suffering and low vibrational, energies. And so it's really hard. They're trying to do the work, they're trying to figure it out, and they're going to other people, to get help. We're meant to get support from other people. I would say the thing is when you don't have any power at all and you're completely giving it away to other people. This is where I really have kind of sat silent and watched other practitioners take advantage of that and use it for their own benefit. So let's just say there's like a woman, right? Middle-aged woman, maybe going through a divorce, maybe really in a lot of emotional upheaval. Maybe there's a lot of verbal abuse in the marriage. So, communication was very negative and toxic and disrespectful. So this person, they're just trying to go get some assistance from a practitioner on where they are in their current life path. So there are some people that they'll show up, they'll use their gifts, they'll give that support, and they'll give that help, and then that person goes on their way. But I have seen a few others here and there that are much much more manipulative and I would say darker, just a darker energy, where they use their power of their gifts to feed and to prey on those that are powerless. So recently, this past January, I had figured out, my schedule over the next few months, the kind of courses and classes that I wanted to do. I've been very vocal about having like women's circle. Natalie and I were doing them on Zooms all of last year. And due to our situations just transitioning, I have found that space to do like the women's circles in person. Um, and it's really being a calling right now because I'm seeing it, in lots of places. There's lots of women's circles. There's like lots of these things. And again, that's part of right the light workers and kind of where we are. We're all feeling this call to like create community and things like that. So I wrote out my proposal of classes and workshops and things that I wanted to do, and I submitted it to the business owner. I'd done it in the past, very normal. This time around, I received an email response back from her that she wanted me to go and meet her at one of her other locations in the state that I live in. She owns multiple businesses, metaphysical stores, where she has different practitioners doing different services in each one. So we set up a time and an arrangement, and I went down there. I walk into the store, and she didn't even recognize me. Like, she didn't even remember who I was. It had been a while since I had seen her in person, so I understood that, but it was still kind of awkward because, like, you knew we had a meeting. Then she brings out this other practitioner who was claiming, I mean, this is where like labels and identities and all of these things get really like thrown around, and people really kind of sometimes get on a high horse, and then other people get really I think triggered. Like shaman's a good one that really triggers a lot of people, and it's really misused by other people. But this woman was like considering herself like a high priestess, all of these labels in her services. And what she really did was kind of manipulate the business owner, and was like feeding off of the store energy, and was bringing in, like seeing customers in the store, and just like walking up to them. They just walk up to them and they just start telling them, oh, like, spirit wants me to tell you this, you need to know this. And like, that's how they do it. They'll just come to you and start like reading you and giving you downloads of information, and they're like, oh, you want to know more? And then they like, next you're paying for a session and you're in a side room, and they're completely like invading your boundaries because you didn't actually ask for it. And that's what this woman was really doing in that space. I witnessed it while I was standing there talking to the business owner and everything. This practitioner was the one who wanted the email sent. She was the one who wanted the meeting. I think my classes intrigued her, And then she got curious and wanted to meet me and like kind of question me out and see where I was at. So it was very odd. So I was prepared for like a business meeting, in a metaphysical space with like spiritual business owner. And I'm not met with that at all. I'm completely met with competition and what is it you're doing? And from the other practitioner. Um, so it was an interesting day. And I really got triggered by it at the end. So what this lady ended up doing was literally she just said she wanted to talk to me and she didn't. Like there was no actual conversation of asking questions. She brought me to like her little spot of her table where she would take the customers, and she sat me down, and I thought we were going to engage in conversation. And next thing I know, she's just like reading into me. And it was very weird. It was almost like she was trying to put herself in this like automatic trance state. And I truly feel like she wanted me to think or feel like she was within me, right? Within my like telepathy, right? Within my mind space, and like picking out things about me. It was very invasive. It was very like my boundaries were completely violated. And I was just sitting there like so completely baffled at this woman. And I remember her just being like, what are you doing? Like, how are you going to bring change? What do you want? Like, and then, as she's like kind of reading through my aura, because that's what I feel like it really was. She was able to just kind of see like life path things in the aura. She's like, oh, psychedelics, you're here and you're going to do it with psychedelics and change, the world or whatever. Um, and I kind of just chuckled and laughed and whatever. And I don't know, she got the information she wanted, because like I said, again, she was scanning my energy field to see like if I was a threat to her presence, which I knew in that moment, like I'm so divinely protected. Like you can't touch me. There's nothing this woman could do. I wasn't worried about it. But when I walked away and I left, I had just such disbelief that this was supposed to be like a business meeting. And all of a sudden, I'm like handed over from like the owner to a fellow practitioner who's just trying to size up my gifts and my like spiritual abilities and my intentions. And then she went on to the other stores and tried to do it to a couple other practitioners as well. Um, so at least like 3 or 4 other people she did it to. It was about a month later when I had heard that her and the business owner finally had a clashing, and she was fired and let go. So within her being let go, she had created, a couple of women's circles. It was doing them monthly. I was gearing up to, bring mine to a different store space. And so the business owner reached out to me and asked me if I could come to that location and fill in for that women's circle. It already had a theme, clearing the sacral chakra of shame and guilt. And it was on the blood moon eclipse, and that's all I had. So I was like, okay, I have a week and a half. I will take this theme. I will prepare it based on what my knowledge, my gifts, my passions, and I'll bring it to these women, knowing that these women are going to show up expecting the other practitioner to be holding that space. So I didn't know if I was going to be met with hostility or, acceptance, like had no idea. And I just went with it. So I showed up, I decorated the space, I set the intentions, I had the activities planned out. And in the initial like sit down, I had to explain to them, okay, this woman's not here. I'm filling it in. I don't know what she was doing for you or with you, but this is what I have planned. And if you, can be open-minded, we can all still come together and achieve, the same results, right? We're trying to clear away guilt and shame from the sacral chakra. I will say I was really surprised. by that energy of the women. So when I had left that practitioner that day, what I felt from her was a very dark crone energy. And I want to say like Snow White. Um when the evil queen turns into the old woman with the apple to go and poison Snow White, like that's the energy this woman had of like shift shifter, ancient evilness. It's really what she was. Um and I wasn't the only one that saw it. Other people had seen it before me even. And I just never met her in person, so I didn't care. Like I wasn't getting involved. But once I got called down there and then she wanted to like read me, that's fine, but your energy tells as well. And I know exactly what you are and what you're doing. And I don't um it's not okay. And so I've really have felt this like fuel in my gut since that happened to really speak out about manipulative, dark, twisted practitioners that have the gifts and have the abilities and have the skills, but they use it. They use it for their own benefit and they hurt people. Because what that goddess circle, that women's circle that she was putting together, she was taking the power from those women. There was like a teenage girl at one of that, like middle age, up into crone years, maybe I would say some late 20s, early 30s. But then I was really surprised that there was like a teenager. And she was told, that woman had told her, like, you need a woman's circle. You should be doing this. That right there is the exact example of somebody taking your power. And that's what I want to pinpoint. We go to practitioners for help, right? We go to practitioners who are open to spirituality, who can see and tap into things that maybe we just have blocks at. They shouldn't be using their gifts to take advantage of you. And that's what some of them do. So I just really wanted to speak out against that and really just say it comes to your power. If you're going to any kind of guru, mentor, spiritual coach, therapist, it doesn't matter what they identify themselves as. If they're supposed to be supporting and helping you, then they should be empowering you. They should not be feeding off of your energy, keeping you in a weak state. And that is where it is up to us, our own individual selves, to recognize our self-awareness of where we are at with our boundaries and our power. And a lot of it stems from people pleasing that we're so not even aware of. It's so buried in the subconscious because as a little child, when you're 2 and 3 years old and you're being trained to say please and thank you and to not hurt people's feelings and to be polite and to like hush your own voice, for somebody else's feelings or whatever. All of that gets buried. And it still navigates your life. You're just not aware of how it's pulling you. And so to see women and men, it doesn't even matter, to see all people that are coming into these metaphysical stores that are trying to educate themselves, they're trying to heal themselves. And then to have practitioners who are more advanced, who are more maybe spiritually accelerated. And that's why they're seeking you out, right? But to then take from them and to feed off of them so that way like you can have their money or whatever, right? Just even, I mean, just like literally draining, feeding off of their energy to fulfill your energy, because then it shifts, right? You maybe go from feeling like crap about yourself to now you just like shifted this energy, fed off of somebody else. You stole their power. So now you feel better, right? Now you feel like on cloud nine. So that's what's really happening here. And it's not okay. And so this episode is specifically about empowering yourself. And we have to do that through really coming together and having supportive spaces where it's about empowerment and rising up through like our voice, our experiences, our shared narratives. It's about recognizing that we're not separate. We're not. We're not as much as we think we are. We've been so conditioned to feel like we're individual and we're alone, but it's not the reality. It's an illusion. And if you could see beyond the veil and recognize the truth of how connected we really are, how interwoven the levels and the layers of energy are, of the realms of dark, demonic. Let's just be honest. There's energy vampires. There are things that feed off of our souls and keep us trapped in the dark, that keep us reincarnating lifetime after lifetime, because it is feeding off of your soul. And that's what it is. It's about the soul. The darkness is like suffocating it. And the more that you can say, like, enough is enough, enough is enough. I am tired of feeling drained and exhausted and beaten down. I am tired of feeling violated and having my voice silenced. I'm tired of having my boundaries stepped over and crossed over. I am tired of feeling like I'm manipulated and victimized just because I have a kind heart and I'm compassionate and I care about the world and I care about nature and I care about animals. That is not weakness. That is beautiful power in itself. And it needs to be channeled. And so, like, this podcast episode is, again, about that. Rising in your power, recognizing you have the answers within yourself. You don't need to go out into the world looking for everyone else to give you the answers. Sometimes it's beneficial and it's helpful to get support, to get advice, to get guidance. Yes, it absolutely is helpful, but it is not the only, and it's not the only way. You have to recognize your soul is guiding you. Your soul is trying to wake you up to remember. It's doing it through triggers. Every time you're triggered in your relationships, in your job, in your day-to-day stuff, every time an appliance breaks down and you're triggered, that is your soul trying to get your awareness to look at your emotions and your mental state, to step back and recognize that you are an observer. You are an object and a subject. Like, we don't need to just get swept up into the illusion and the emotions and the thoughts. Like, that is the egoic programming that is completely chaotic. And it can be broken down. It can be rewired. It can feel crazy and scary and an ego death for sure. But it's also really transformative and beautiful. And so I am tired of seeing practitioners take advantage of innocent people. I am tired of seeing narcissists and bullies threatening. I really am. Like, I've just, and that's what this podcast is about. Like, I'm tired of it. And as someone who is an empath, very, very sensitive, very, very feminine. I was completely bullied as a child. And I'm talking like 8, 9 years old. And it's something I'm working with and I'm still trying to heal through. And I think I ignored it a lot. And it's now part of an ego wound that I'm working with. And it's like I can't ignore the ego wounds. And with that, it's like, if you hate something about yourself, you're going to project it. You're going to disown it from you. You're not going to want to look at it, and you're going to project it on other people. And those things that you dislike about yourself, you're going to see it in everyone else around you. And that's all you're going to notice, is everything that you hate and dislike, because that's how the brain is wired. The brain is wired to seek out negativity through negative experiences and all of the crap that we go through that really sucks. And we recognize, ooh, that was unpleasant. Don't want to do that again. That's what shifts our wiring so that we can, like, kind of break out of it. So if you're not actually doing any mindfulness techniques, if you're not doing any spiritual practices to like shift your mentality and to rewire the neurological aspects of you to recognize you're wired for negativity and how to shift that and make it intentional for the positivity, because it has to be done with intention and self-awareness, then you're just going to keep like being in the negative, being in the negative. You're just going to keep projecting that. And for those of us that have done the work, that are in mindfulness practices, that recognize our projections and our, disowned parts that we're trying to integrate and heal, we see the truth. We see the narcissism. It gets to a point in your journey where you recognize that is not me, that is you. This is where I'm at. This is what I'm going through. And you're projecting onto me. And the people that aren't doing the work, the people that are stuck in the narcissism and the toxicity, the people that think the world is out to get them and everybody is just ruining their lives and they're always the victim and they can never take responsibility for their own actions, like that is where the battle is kind of coming, like that's where we have this darkness and light. And I think we're at a massive collective consciousness point where there's so much fear and there's so much chaos that it's really rippling out, that even the people that have been doing the work for years and decades, that are really grounded, that really, have known that these shifts and these waves were coming, that these astrological alignments were coming. I mean, even for me, I'll tell you, for years, I was posting about Pluto preparing to go into Aquarius. I knew like that premonition, that will be the beginning of the American downfall. When you look at history, when you understand the cycles of these planetary shifts and their evolutionary cycles and revolutionary cycles, Pluto going into Aquarius really was that good jolt shift into the age of Aquarius. And it really is the falling of the American empire. I knew by the time Pluto moved out of Aquarius in like 40 years, America would not be the world superpower. Just didn't think it would start happening within like 6 months. So that's been playing out a little bit more differently than I thought, but I knew it was coming. So within that, I'm able to at least ground and stand firm. Yet I'm recognizing all of the chaos and all of the fear and all the anger that's happening collectively around me. So again, that's kind of another inspiration for this. I mean, I literally can't sleep at night. I feel the anger and the rage and the passion of the divine mother. All right, let's talk about the goddess, the mother goddess, the creator. Okay, let's talk about her. Okay. I don't feel like she's given enough credit. We always want to talk about God and man's image and all that, but whatever. Let's look at the goddess. So we have this beautiful, primordial, feminine mother energy that creates, that nurture, that gives life through her womb space. So through the seeds, right? We plant seeds. A seed is very symbolic for a womb, right? The universe, the earth, all these circles, all of this womb space filled with creation and life. So we had the eclipse. I was out there in that energy. I was channeling it. My sleep, it's coming in. The mother she's awakening, right? The feminine is awakening. She's been awakening at stronger and stronger waves. For over a decade now, since I have felt it and been shifted and been intentionally moved by it. Completely altering, this life I had before to this life that I have now. And so with that, like consciousness has its own journey. The divine feminine is rising. The patriarchy, the paradigm that we're living in right now, if you follow spiral dynamics, if you've studied that at all, then you know we're moving up in the spiral. You see again all of um the same synchronicities, right? The same things happen when every civilization falls, and every time a new civilization rises, you always see like the same things playing out: the chaos, the fear, the war, money, right? Money abundance shifting and changing. We lose one type of coin and it transforms into another type of coin. um, so all of those things are present in the spiral dynamics of paradigm shifts, and that's where we are at right now. And so this call for light workers is really to ground and anchor yourself. Look back and reflect on your journey, what has helped you rise into your power, into your authenticity, into your healing, into your individuality and your transformation. Look how it has shifted your relationships and your community. Maybe you're completely alone right now and you feel like you have nobody and you're waiting to find that community. Maybe that community is just now coming together, or it's a couple years down the road and you're recognizing that light workers together bring up shadow work. And are we going to do the shadow work together as a collective, as a community? Are we going to sit down with our friends and talk about our triggers and our wounds and get really deep in intimacy by communication? Or are we going to cut cords and walk away and say, screw that, I'm going back to isolation, I'm putting up walls, and I'd rather be alone? Or I'm just going to go back to this toxic relationship because at least I knew what to expect, right? But we can't do that anymore. We've gone through our journeys for a reason and a purpose. We are spiritual warriors. Our souls that are here now to do this work are ancient. We have done this at pivotal points of paradigm shifts in the past. And now we need to fully embody our spirit within our physical body. We need to embrace and integrate our masculine, our feminine, our inner child. We need to do the unity within, because as you transform yourself within, it will automatically create an external reality to match. You don't have to do anything but do the work on yourself within yourself. Go to your heart space. Give yourself love and compassion for all the crap that you've been through, that you've put yourself through, that you've let other people put you through. Give them for permission to have forgiveness from you. It's really hard to forgive other people for hurting us. It's really hard for us to sometimes forgive ourselves. But that is the first step to the path of healing. It really, truly is just compassion, understanding, and forgiveness. At the end of the day, we are all wired the same genetically. We're all here to learn and to grow consciously, to evolve consciously through trial and error, through relationships and connections. That's the only thing that actually matters, is connections. Houses, material objects, cars, even a title for a job, it's crap that doesn't matter. It really doesn't. When you're about to die on your deathbed, are you really going to think oh man, I wish I would have added a third floor, or too bad I never got the Porsche, or oh man, too bad I didn't have that 2-car garage. No, it's going to be I didn't spend more time with this person, or I didn't get to call my dad and have one more conversation before he died. Or maybe my kid's mad at me and I need to repair my relationship with my child. That's what matters. That's the only thing that matters, is connection. So to have a system that doesn't care about us, a world that just wants to see us as a resource and tap into us and drain us from our souls and our spirits and our livelihoods and our passions. For what? For nothing? To pay a bill? To really? No, I'm over it and I'm done. I don't know the way forward. I really don't. I'm trying to figure it out, but I know it's in unity. I know it's coming together. I know it's holding space for one another so that we can listen to each other's narratives and tell our stories and help each other heal and grow. Because we're all the same. We are all the same. We want to feel safe in our homes. We want to feel loved by the people that we love. And we want to know that we are protected and provided for, that we have enough food to nourish our bodies. That's it. It's the basic survival mode, realistically. When that's triggered and your home and your food, your shelter, right, and your food is threatened, you can't focus on anything else. And teachers know this. We see this in our students in schools. When a kid comes in from a dysfunctional home life and they're worried about all of the violence and all of the trauma they have to go home to, you think they're sitting in class for 7 hours excited about like college applications or testing? Are you kidding me? Like these kids are bags of nerves and anxiety and depression, and we're just training them to go out into the workforce. Like, you know what I mean? That's all it is like, boom, go to school, sit down, do what you're told, go to the workforce, boom, sit down, do what you're told. At some point, we need to really look at the civilizations that we have created and recognize it doesn't work. We are at a mass peak of suicide rates, obesity, health issues, mental health, trauma. We collectively are at a breaking point in our own psyches. And the only way forward is to sit in the shadows and to understand what is in the shadows. And it's hard because we're talking about the collective, you know? And there's a lot of nasty, dark, scary, disturbing crap that goes on in this world. And in the last few years, Jupiter and Scorpio with the Me Too movement really started exposing a lot of like Hollywood, and it hasn't silenced over the last few years. Things have kind of been coming up more and more out of the shadows. And it has to. It has to. Like, you have to go through the darkness to get to the light. So to keep our heads buried in the sand because, this shadow work, this reality of the collective, of lifetimes of wars and killings and silencing of voices for like power controls, like nothing has changed. It's happening right now. It's been happening for thousands of years, nonstop. It's just another new wave. So that is all within our ancient memory. So I think for us that are really getting triggered and we're really like, no, I'm not going to do it in this lifetime. I'm not going to do it in this lifetime. I'm going to rise up. Maybe I rose up in every other lifetime too, right? But like, that's where we're at. We have to come together. So I did recently have a really awesome what do they call it? It was an astrology reading, evolutionary astrology. So again, like I was talking about with that woman who was very manipulative and kind of feeding on customers, right? Noticing the ones that maybe didn't have power, so she could feed on them and tell them what to do, right? Tell them what they needed. This way, she was taking all their power. There are people that are very beautiful and supportive and very helpful. So for my birthday, I had an evolutionary astrology reading, and it was beautiful. I'm hoping to actually have the astrologer on in a future podcast. I would love for him to come on. Very, very sweet man. So he looked at my birth chart, and then we met in a session, and he looks at right? The evolutionary part of like your soul, right? What imprints is it leaving in your chart, and where is it going? So it was so profound for me. It was really, really cool. Um, like right away, the first thing he told me was a lot of things I kind of knew already that I had already discovered. So it was just, again, confirmation, validation. It felt like the puzzle was just really coming more complete, and the universe, just wanted me to gain more of this knowledge and awareness. So ancient soul, which I know, and this lifetime for me isn't a culmination of all of my past lifetimes, which I've known. So what that means is every single past life that I have lived is now happening in this lifetime as one lifetime. So I have I had spent 17 years in a relationship. 10 years of that was in marriage. We have 4 children together. He very much controlled, narcissist, absolutely, right? My empath just completely shut down. I was also 15 years old when I met him. And yeah, so it was not healthy. It was very much illegal even. And I felt like I didn't have people protecting me at that time, right? I blamed my mother, and I had to work through that. I had to take my own accountability. I had to take my own responsibility, and recognize that maybe there weren't adults protecting me, but I also got myself in this own situation. But I recognized, soul contracts, right? You make these soul contracts with people for a reason. So it was very much a lot of lifetimes in that relationship. Um, the astrologer had told me about the power that I held, which again, I know, um, because I feel it. I feel the power of the divine feminine within me. And it's not a power to hurt other people, but it's a power to like know who I am, and to know my purpose and my worth and my value, and to give back, and to just help other people, not to force my way into their lives or anything like that, but just to, if you're here and you want the guidance, you want the advice, like I'll help you. I'm here for you. Um, so that was in my birth chart, like all of that, in all of these past lives. I knew, like, okay, I would have been considered a witch, right? I would have been hung, I would have been burnt, I would have been drowned off a freaking bridge. The time of like the Christian crusades, right? When paganism, I know I would have gone underground. I would have had to worship my deities underground. I would have been an alchemist. So all of that came up in my birth chart, and it was really cool. And that is, and he's like, you're here in this lifetime to pick up where you left off. And I know that, like, that's why I'm here doing this podcast right now. This is why I'm like, hello, light workers, where are you? We have to unite. um so like those are the kinds of practitioners that you can go to, right? That will look at your birth chart and kind of give you this really cool, awesome insight. And you feel empowered from that. You feel like, oh, all right, I knew some of that, and now I need to know even more. Now, at least a lot of things that I experienced, it makes sense. Like you walk away from that and you feel like you know where to go. When you go to a practitioner who wants to feed off of you and keep you in a powerless state, they're going to keep you confused. They're going to keep you needing them. They're going to keep you wanting them, that the only advice and the only solution is through them. And that's ridiculous. That's when you should recognize that this person is not a good energy that you should be around, because they should want you to go explore. They should want you to find the answers within yourself. They should want you to go find it through other people and other avenues. Yes, getting fired up with this topic because, like I said, it's been 2.5 years of witnessing just different types of spiritual, I don't know, whatever labels. I hate labels. I really do. I mean, just people on different paths of light and dark, just trying to do the work. Um, So really, thank you. Just thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. My biggest intention was that people would listen to this, that they would feel that spark just within themselves of like, you're right, enough is enough. I'm tired of being walked over. I'm tired of being taken advantage of. I'm tired of feeling like I don't matter. Because especially empaths, especially those that are just so kind and compassionate, people who don't care, people who are heartless and cruel and have no empathy or sympathy, because they're out there. They really are. Narcissists, sociopaths. I mean, again, the way the brain is just wired, some people just are not able to connect to a deep level of emotions. They're so far removed from the state of unconditional love. And there's nothing wrong about with that in a lot of ways, because that's the universe, right? There's no good or bad, right or wrong. It's just, it is what it is, and it's consciousness evolving through itself. But for those of us who have been doing the work, have been listening to our souls, have been listening to the universe that's co-creating with us, guiding us, have created these communities of intention, healing, right? Love, support, whether it's living in harmony, like on actual land together, or just coming together, for festivals to heal with music and dance. All of these beautiful ways that I've witnessed. The important thing is that we need to just keep coming together. We need to keep expressing the truth of our authentic hearts and our authentic natures and our voices. We need to understand that we are, in a sense, superheroes. We are spiritual warriors. We have a responsibility with our power. We not to give it away to other people, not to let other people walk all over us and try and take our power, but to rise in it to help others. And this is where it just like breaks my heart so much at like the separation and the hatred. Because again, it's your own aspects of yourself that you really truly hate that you're putting onto other people. You're projecting. And in basic psychology, teaches us this. If we were taught psychology, which is what I honestly feel like schools, that was my one thing where schools have failed us. They should be teaching us how to do shadow work. They should be teaching us about empathy. They should be teaching us about our energy bodies and our chakras and how those hold stuck energy and becomes imbalanced and causes disease and illnesses in our bodies. Like, we should be understanding who and what we are, rather than just trying to train us to go and do a job to pay a bill so that we can just be a tapped into resource. Because we're so much more than that. We are light beings on an evolutionary journey. And so it's time that we rise up and we evolve. If you don't recognize the signs right now that patterns of history are repeating themselves, we have to be the change. We have to stand up. We have to protect ourselves. We have to protect the people we love. We have to speak our truth and our opinions and our voices. And yeah, I mean, to say that, I know people are going to be out there listening that maybe don't agree with me, or I don't agree with them, and their truth isn't my truth. But you know what? At the end of the day, like, that's fine. That's okay. What's not okay is you putting into action a will that wants to hurt somebody else, an intention to use your power to control and feed off of somebody else's energy to destroy somebody else's life. It happens unconsciously, accidentally. The best of us do it unintentionally when we just want to end relationships or move on in our life, or when we are in a wounded state and we make a connection and then we heal and things have to be resolved. So it's not always like everyone's just out to get everyone. And that's something that we need to recognize as well, that a lot of people are just trying to find joy in their day. A lot of people are just trying to survive. And when you spend half of your life or your entire life living in survival mode, and then there's a transition where like you are safe and all of those traumatic environmental impacts are no longer a part of your situation, you don't just easily like flip a switch overnight and go smooth sailing into like new territory. Your whole entire nervous system has now been completely rewired. And so like you might be in a calm environment, but your body is always going to be on high alert. And that is going to control how you react to situations. That's going to control when you're triggered, how you navigate things. So for those of us that really truly can come to grounding states, can come back to um self-actualization and recognizing like self-regulation, right? To be able to step back when triggered and recognize what is happening at deeper levels and layers, then you're not playing into it anymore. You're not feeding the pattern. You're changing it. You're breaking it. You're gaining more self-awareness. I think right now, more than ever, that's what we truly need. There's so much chaotic energy in the collective that things that are maybe you're feeling and things that you're happening might not even be your own energy. They could be ancestral. They could be from a dream state that you carry over that you wake up with. So the first thing is like just to sit in silence, to sit and recognize, what am I feeling? Where did this thought come from? What is happening? Gaining that self-awareness so that you can at least start controlling your own energy in the collective energy field rather than just throwing your chaos in it even. Because realistically, like that's the last thing we need right now is more fear and more chaotic energy just being rippled out into the collective day in and day out. The more that we can kind of channel and ground our stream, our energy being, our field, and we can anchor ourselves in knowing like I am safe, I am protected, I am provided for. Those three basic things right there. I am safe, I am protected, I am provided for. Then you can truly rise in your power. But if you feel like your survival is a threat and a danger, then you're not going to be able to calm your nervous system to a place to be able to start looking at the wiring and the programming of your neurological mindset, and as well as your nervous system. Because right, there's the brakes and then there's the gas, they say. It either goes or it like stops completely and you just shut down. So even looking at like, how am I in fight or flight mode when I get triggered? Like, how do I respond? What are my triggers? Doing the work for yourself is going to help your energy stream in the collective at the end of the day. And then on top of that, I just want to kind of throw this idea out there for those that are, advanced and doing the work and really kind of anchoring in their energy and understanding the impact that they have in the field. So 1111, 222, 444, all these angel numbers that we see, times on the clock, whatever. I want to throw this out there. I think we should be taking those moments as moments of silence. Whenever we see some kind of synchronicity of the universe, whenever we see some kind of number sequence, if we could all just hone in our consciousness as a collective, right? Like unite our consciousness So see 11:11 on the clock. Take a deep breath. Take a moment of silence. Ground yourself in this earth. Anchor in through your crown chakra. A vision, right? A beautiful vision of like where we're going. Like, where are we truly going in this world? Are we, because I mean, we are obviously separating between an AI reality and, those that are not going to kind of go that path. We already know there's a split. That's fine. Eventually it will unite and we'll come back to a oneness. But for right now, it's like, what do you really want for yourself, for the world around you? Clean water, green grass, birds, animals thriving, flowers, wildlife thriving, a healthy body, healthy ecosystem, healthy food, right? Maybe we just have healthy food. If we could all just come together and be able to like tap in as a unity consciousness and manifest from an evolutionary aspect of where we're going, because we know better than this. Have we not learned from World War II? Like, seriously? Have we not learned from like the 60s and the 70s? Have we not learned from the 1800s? Like, really? Because let me tell you, Neptune has just entered Aries. And this is a huge shift. And it was last back in the 1800s in Aries during the Civil War, Revolutionary Wars, like time periods. So like to have war, like nobody, like light workers especially, like we don't want war, but we have to recognize that at a deeper level there is a battle of integration between darkness and light happening. And that is what is being played out in the embodiment of the physical reality, is the collision of a dark force and a higher vibrational force. And within that spectrum, there's all like the gray zone, right? So it's about looking at where you are on that vibrational spectrum in the collective and being accountable and being responsible for your energy stream in the collective, and knowing that you have a duty and a power to rise up, raise your consciousness. If you're in a low vibrational state, recognize that, honor that. There's beauty in that, because that is like where transformation stems from. We grow through the darkness. We grow through the mud. It's all around us symbolically and metaphorically. All we have to do is look at like the growth of a lotus. It's coming up through the mud, in through the water, up onto the surface. All we have to do is look at the seeds of a plant, of a tree, and recognizing how it roots down through the darkness and also grows up and branches through the light. We are no different. The only difference is how we actually intentionally transmit that energy through our actions. So if you're choosing to rise in your power and then take power from other people to feed yourself, I'm sorry, but you are a dark force, and you will be confronted, you will be revealed, and you will be defeated eventually. People are going to see you for who you are, and they will keep walking away from you. And for those of us that are doing the work, that are the light workers, that are recognizing the vampires and the narcissists, like, keep doing the work. Keep believing in yourself. Because the first thing they will do is they will turn you against yourself so that you question your own reality and everything you ever even knew about you. They will make you think that the blue jeans you're wearing are black, literally, while it's on your body. And so it's up to you to take your power back, to put in boundaries. And they're not going to like it. Bullies don't want someone to stand up to them. But it's up to us as light workers to say, I see your game, I know what you're doing, and you're not going to feed on my soul anymore. I'm going to unite. I'm going to help my community. I'm going to rise up with the people that I love and I care about, and I'm going to do better for this world. So maybe that is educating people on their psychology, educating people on the way the brain is wired and the nervous system is wired so that they understand there's nothing wrong with you. That's what you're supposed to go through, that you are more than just a human being. You're having an evolutionary journey, not only as a human, but as a soul. Your soul is trying to grow and evolve. So I do feel really, I feel really passionate about this because it's so important that people rise in their power, that they sit and they recognize where they've given it away, where they've let other people take it from them. And it's usually based in fear or love, right? These aspects of like people pleasing because we want to be loved and we don't want to be alone. And, or I mean the human emotions, the human condition, the human journey, the human experience, it's all so complex, interwoven with layers. So it's not just one point A to point B. It's a spider web, a delicate spider web. And you just have to like follow one strand into the maze and then follow the next strand until you see the entire spider web for what it fully is. I just really, I love this earth. Like I do. I love the mountains and the ocean. I love Mother Nature. I love the animals and the beautiful trees. You know, spring is awakening and this is my favorite time. May and June is really my favorite. Because it's so warm in the northern hemisphere. It's like the perfect. But to just feel that excitement of life, that curiosity of potential of what life and creativity can bring. Like we're all capable of that. We all have that. And that's what we should be tapping into. This beauty of what we could truly create that brings us joy and passion. And so it breaks my heart to witness people that have just been victimized and people that are think it's their fault or something's wrong with them or end up lost in powerless states because there are other people on this darker spectrum of energy that are able to feed off of that, to be able to take control of power from them and use it to just fill their own egoic whatever needs, whatever desires, wounds. Yeah, so hit an hour, so I don't want to go too much longer. I just really want to say thank you again to everybody who is listening, who's supporting this this podcast channel, Women of Consciousness, through whatever platform streaming service that you find it on. If you could please just share, at least share this episode if you hear it. My intention with this episode is that the light workers that it's meant to gravitate towards will find it, they'll hear it, they'll feel this like passionate call, right? Like we've gone through trials and tribulations. We have reprogrammed and healed ourselves. We have shed conditionings. We have risen up as maybe like the black sheep in our family to heal our family traumas, you know, maybe become an outcast in some ways because we're unique and authentic and people just can't relate to us. Like that's fine. Who cares? You're beautiful in your own right. The most important thing you can do now is to truly love yourself, believe in yourself, believe and understand that you have a purpose and a reason for being here at this pivotal paradigm shift in time. And we have to unite and rise together. We have to continue to heal our inner beings, and it will continue to shift the external. The more that we can come together and recognize we have differences, and that's okay, that's perfect, and that's what's needed. The point is that we can hold space and recognize that other people aren't a threat to who we are as an individual, that we still have purpose, that we can still shine our light and be our true voice. That's what's needed. That's what's needed. Don't hold back because of fear. You have to embrace the vulnerability. Rise up, please, for the love of the Mother Goddess, who is trying to create a better life for us, who is trying to evolve the consciousness of Gaia and this whole planet and all of the conscious beings on it. We need to come together. Maybe we should do more meditation circles and support groups with intention about where our mind is at, because your mind and your voice is the most powerful thing you have. So recognize that, own that. Don't be silenced by those that want to take your power, and don't use your voice to try and take other people's power. Allow everyone to have their own beautiful light and let it shine. Please let your light shine. You are here for a reason, and we need you. Right now, those that aren't able to do the work, those that it's not their time in this lifetime to wake up, they need us. They need us spiritual warriors to help protect their energy. They need us to help protect their collective energy. So please find the beauty within yourself, in your community, and allow you to rise up and shine. Don't hold back. That is my hope. That is my message with this episode. Just, really understand that you're emitting energy out into the collective, right? Take accountability and responsibility for your energy field and what you're emitting. Channel it through your earth star, right? The earth star chakra, the feet, the bottom of the feet, 6 inches below the feet. Get out and ground. If you have heavy energy, if you have a lot of hatred, if you have a lot of anger and pain and disgust, if you have a lot of fear, if you are living in chaos and turmoil, get out and ground. Go be in water and release it to the water. The water is the most healing thing you can do. Take an Epsom salt bath. Go to the ocean, but release it to the Mother Earth. Go stand barefoot out by a tree. Hold a tree. Allow your energy to be released. That tree will transmute it. It will know how to take your energy and transmute it. Go have a fire. Go light up a fire. Write down all of the stuff you want to get out. Throw it away into the fire. Burn it. Get rid of it. Get it out of you. But do it in a healthy way that it's transmuted back to Mother Earth, and she can transcend and transmute that energy. If you're just going to wake up and go out and spread your hate and spread your hostility, and you're just going to have this open energy field, and you're just going to be shooting out your negativity and letting it attach to other people and have no accountability or responsibility or awareness for what you're doing, then now is the time to take awareness. Clean yourself. Use Palo Santo. Use sage. Use Florida water. Use sprays. People make them. You can find them. I will say Freya's Apothecary. Please go to freyasapothecary.com. Beautiful cleansing and clearing sprays that she makes. I use it every day. I use it all the time. Absolutely wonderful spray. Clean away. Protect your energy space so that other people's negativity and demons and darkness isn't able to tear in and hold on and feed off of your aura. Because that's what's really, truly important. Protect your energy space. Know how to transmute your negative feelings and emotions so that you're not just rippling it out there into the collective. It's time that we take accountability and responsibility for our energy and for our actions and for our intentions. If you're waking up and you're trying to hurt people with your power and you're trying to suck the energy force out of other people, then shame on you. Really. Shame on you. You need to go into your heart space and connect and recognize that you are loved. You are loved by the universe. You may feel so far from it and so separate from it that you'll do anything to hold on and to grab it and to feel loved or to feel connected to people. But it's wrong. It's just so wrong, morally, ethically. And that's what we need to look at is our morals and our values on like, how are we really coming together and connecting with people? We have to go deeper. We have to be deeper at energy levels than this surface mask shit that we're doing now. Because we're just wearing masks and showing up and playing house and being pretend and keeping all of this stuff within. And you know what? It can't hide anymore in the shadows. You can't keep the mask on. Mother Nature's not going to let you. Okay, this paradigm shift, where we're going, all the shadows that are coming up in the collective, it's meant to reveal who you are. It's meant to help you heal and grow and evolve. So now is the time. Now is the time to really, truly go within your hearts, go within yourself, look at who you are, have love and compassion, have forgiveness, but recognize that we need to do better. We need to be better. We need to show up. No more just talking about it. No more just like, oh, well, I'm doing the work, love and light, and then just staying in the shadows and letting the world go to chaos around us. We have a role in this. We have a very important role in this. And it is time. We have to unite. So please, light workers, let's come together. Let's form communities. Let's form groups. Let's form meditative circles where we can really tap into the energy consciousness streams and really anchor harmony, peace, healing. Because that might be where it needs to come from. If we can't be speaking out and doing protests, because God forbid now we actually stand and protest, like that's all, whatever. Then we can do it in other ways. We can do it in other ways that people don't even need to know or won't even know. We can do it with our energy, with our intention of our minds and our hearts and our voices. We can do it in our homes by just recognizing the power that we have with what we're putting into our lives and into the world. Thank you very much for being here. At this point, I'm just going to sign off because I don't want to keep going in circles. But I hope that you get my point, and I hope that you feel the power and the passion that is truly coming from my heart and my gut, because like enough is enough. I am not going to do another lifetime of this. I am not going to do another lifetime of going underground and hiding and remaining voiceless. If I have to die in this lifetime again to fight for my rights and my voice, then I will. And we should all be willing to make that sacrifice. It's the only way to evolve forward and to change the patterns of the past. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Please share this message. Please talk about this topic. Please connect with other people that you know that maybe are doing the work, or maybe they're not doing the work. But even having the conversations can shift the energy. So please do the work. Just get out there in the way that your heart's showing you and the way that your intuition is guiding you. Know that you are safe, you are provided, you are protected. This is why your soul came here. Not to work a job, not to pay bills, but to win a battle of evolutionary consciousness, and we will win. The light will rise. Frequency, evolution, we will rise. Have a wonderful day, and thank you for being here.